The film series that won't die. Nearly 30 movies, one house, actually several houses, and cursed artifacts.
The Amityville Horror Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to our home. This is the Amityville Horror Podcast. I'm Tom.
And I'm Pat.
And this week we're going to look at the Amityville Toy Box.
So this is, I'm assuming, an Amityville movie about an evil toy or toys or
something. We're back to the cursed objects.
It seems like, because, I mean, there's a Monkey Shines type monkey, like one of the clapping cymbals ones as the poster.
Oddly enough, even though I don't think, and I'm going to include myself, I don't think anybody's ever actually watched Monkey Shines. If you say the phrase Monkey Shines Monkey, people will know what you're talking about.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like I've seen Monkey Shines. I don't remember it at all, but that was Romero, wasn't it?
Yeah, yes. The most I've had, I've seen like a random clip or two when they at the One World they used to mistakenly give me the remote control, and it's like, okay, there's nothing else actively fun. Let's put on Comet TV and. Comet TV! It's
so
like,
much fun.
It's the old UHF style of, hey, we have crap, so why don't you watch our crap?
When I still had cable and or an antenna, like Comet or El Rey were just great for flipping on for all the fun, T-movies and UHF stuff.
Yeah, and so like I saw a bit of it there, but the most I've ever had connection to is the infamous "How Did This Get Made" episode about Monkey Shines. Have you ever listened
I haven't heard that one, no.
There is a part where June Diane Raphael goes on at length trying to make sure that, one, the monkeys used in the film were properly compensated, and two, that this movie did not promote the idea that monkeys were evil. Like, she seems very alarmed and worried in a way that makes Jason Mantzoukas and Paul Scheer really question her in the episode, going, you do know this is a movie, right? This was not a documentary. They didn't hire an evil monkey to play the monkey.
The monkey's an actor.
It's really something. And it's actually in the lyrics to the theme song now, like June making sure all them monkey shines getting paid.
Nice.
It is something. She doesn't. I don't even want to bring it up really, because like the few times people have brought it up at live shows, she has no sense of humor about it. She's very angry. But yeah. Back to a cursed object, probably a toy.
Yeah.
Who knows? Like, you can never tell. Like, there's so many of these things where it's like, hey, here's the title and here's the box art. It has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, like the Amityville Playhouse was set in a theater, arguably. Well, it was a theater. But it really didn't have as much to do about theater itself.
No.
I mean, it was a location. It was threadbare.
Like on the opposite end of the spectrum, Amityville, It's About Time was quite literally about time.
A clock and time travel and looping and all that. So, but assuming this is about toys.
Yeah, and also like we've already had a cursed toy, the Amityville Dollhouse, which was... It's pretty good. I remember. Oh, that was the one with the bug. That was the one with the bug. Yeah, bugs in the jars, and that was the one that was almost like House, like the horror movie House with like the undead military dad running around. That was a good time. Remember when these movies were good? Remember when these movies were watchable? But
I'm holding out hope we've got some more ahead of us.
There's got to be at least one. But so cursed objects. The Amityville cursed objects are kind of unique in terms of horror movies, because usually like your cursed object does a specific thing that causes problems, whereas like things that come out of the house are like the One Ring. They just kind of make you go nuts and evil.
Yeah, it's a totem rather than a actual villain itself.
Yeah, rather than a device, as opposed to classic evil toys like I was just about to say demonic toys.
Oh yeah, demonic toys. Dollman, not toy, but Dollman versus Demonic Toys. All of the Puppet Masters.
All of the Puppet Masters. Basically, at minimum, half to 75% of the production oeuvre of Charles Band.
Yeah,
is about
he likes
little
small things. Like even subspecies. It's about tiny vampires.
No, it's like they're there for no reason. Like they're full-size vampires, but then like whenever Radu breaks his fingers apart, the titular subspecies are the little things at the beginning of the movie that have almost nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that it's a great title for a horror movie.
It is. I feel like there was an easy in to get Charles Band to produce your movie. Like I know I've gone over the James Cameron Aliens story before, but I feel like Richard Elfman went to Charles Band and said, I've got a great idea for a movie. It's called Heads. And Charles Band's just looking at him. He's like, wait a minute. Shrunken Heads. You're in.
Did Charles Band produce Tiptoes? Is that that how Matthew Bright got the money to do Tiptoes? Like it was just supposed to be a straight family drama about Gary Oldman, Matthew McConaughey, and Kate Beckinsale. But
and
Charles Band insisted Gary Oldman has to play a dwarf. Because that's what Charles Band sounds like. You can go back and watch the old Full Moon video zones and hear his gravelly Tom Waits' voice.
He's like, Tom Waits meets Tom Carvel. It's like, I want a little cookie puss. The piano's been drinking. It's a moneymaker.
Yeah. But, man. And then Chucky. I guess Chucky. But usually it's like in the Puppet Masters and the Puppet Master Demonic Toys and the Chucky films, it is some sort of malevolent spirit possessing the toy and
dolls.
Then running amok.
Another Charles Band one. Dear God.
It's all of them. Yeah. It's so stupid.
There was that episode of The Simpsons, Treehouse of Horror, Charles Band did with the Clown Without Pity.
Man.
Krusty
got a happy ending in that one.
This is true.
You just got to be turned to not evil.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's your problem. But yeah, I would say, in Poltergeist, the toys attack, but that's the Poltergeist using the toy.
Of the spirit, again.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy, of all, don't get me wrong, it is a scary moment in Poltergeist, but, I was surprised that when they did that remake that I have never seen, because what are you doing?
It's a perfect movie.
Exactly. I was surprised at how much the clown doll was put at the forefront of the marketing of that.
Because they knew that in the original, that was the thing that terrorized everyone, so they probably gave it a whole subplot of 3.
But it's really just that one scene. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's much like every other scene. It's very memorable, but I was surprised that it was hey, guess what? This creepy doll is here again. It's okay.
Yeah, just about every scare in the original Poltergeist is iconic. The face peeling, the killer tree, the pool. The pool skeletons. Yeah. Yeah. So picking a random one, but they picked the Evil Toys.
The Evil Toys. It's weird because Evil Toys. And so, who knows? Maybe this will have Evil Toys. I don't recognize any of the people that are going to be in this.
Yeah. I think we're going to have a hard time doing that moving forward.
That's probably true, but, we have to still try.
Yeah. Or it might not be celebrities so much as people we know through Facebook or whatnot.
Yeah. All right. We're going to go. We'll take a break. This is on Tubi, as are still, at least 12 different Amityville movies are still
Tubi seems to be a good home for these.
Yeah. Great. It's good stuff. Commercials, but, it's fine. They still get to curse. But anyway, we'll see you guys in a few minutes, because this is a podcast. That wasn't bad.
No, that's one of the better ones we've watched in a while.
Yeah, that was... Hey, you know what? I'll give it, a whole bunch of points for just actively wanting to be an Amityville movie.
It had all of the,
It had the house. The house is in this movie.
Yeah, it was... based on the credits, it seemed like it was a model recreation of it. Or a miniature, but...
A miniature.
But they put it in there.
Miniture. Miniature.
Yeah. So spell check, maybe not.
But
that's also been a consistent thread through this series.
Well, more so in the recent crop than in the originals when we could afford proofreaders on the films. But no, this one it's definitely, it wants to be an Amityville. It's not a repurposed like after production is over movie. It is just we're doing Amityville stuff, and actually like not just like with like the Playhouse one from a couple weeks ago where they had like everything was named Amityville, like police station, Amityville
they
library.
threw in the flies once or twice.
Yeah, no, this is just we're actively making it. And also, it is only 76 minutes long, so...
And probably 10 of that is the closing credits.
Holy God.
They were very slow credits.
Also, at least 5 minutes of the obligatory driving around.
Oh, yeah. That's a staple of the series, too, now.
Yeah. So
but the house didn't drive.
But the house didn't. The house didn't drive.
Yeah. That's one thing they missed.
Oh, well.
Spoiler.
But anyway, so this movie, it opens up with like full shots of the house, yes, probably a model, and the DeFeo murders. And he's named DeFeo in the credits and everything. It's we're back. We're Amityville again.
Yeah, and it was the dad, because they've gone back and forth as to whether DeFeo was the teenage son or the father. This one, it's saying he was the father.
Yeah.
We see him chasing the youngest daughter, and then we hear the gunshot.
Yeah. We could not afford squibs or blood effects in this movie. We'll get into that more later.
But yeah.
And then after that, we immediately leave Amityville and go someplace else.
40 years later, we jump ahead to undisclosed area, although
getting split. Wherever they two of the main characters, what is it? Dan and Jade, the first two openly gay characters in the Amityville movies.
It was Dan and Anthony were the gay characters.
No, I thought it was Jade. No, Jade.
Oh no, Anthony and Jade.
Anthony and Jade. Dan and
Brianna.
Yeah. You're right. My bad. Anthony and Jade are at a rest stop called Get in Split. All with eyes. Mm-hmm. So wherever those are, that is where this movie was.
He called his father, Anthony calls his father, an old-fashioned conservative from Nebraska, and there were Nebraska license plates.
Oh, okay.
So let's just say it's in Nebraska, which I don't believe exists.
No, just a conspiracy of cartographers.
Yeah, Kansas is just hiding shit somewhere, and they call it Nebraska and put up a sign or two.
It is cleverly located in the exact geographic center of the country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Some shady bullshit. So yeah, we have those two are the first openly gay characters in the series, and
they kiss on screen and everything.
Yeah,
it's pretty great. Except for the guy's name is Jade, and that just really. It's so fake.
But the thing is,
the walls.
Every character in the main plot of the film,
and we have to say main plot
because we had the intro
for reasons later. Oh yeah, and also
like
oh my God, the movie is this sandwich of stuff that is peripheral.
Yeah.
Okay, continue. I'm sorry. It'll be clearer later.
But yeah, everybody in the main chunk of the movie is using their real name. As their character.
Tony Danzig all over the place.
Basically, yeah. So, Jade goes by Jade in real life, according to the credits.
Jade LaFont.
So, if it is a taken name, that's great. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a guy named Jade. It seems weird to me.
Yeah. But, they show up. Like, basically, Jade and Anthony show up. Dan and Brianna show up.
Everybody is driving to the ancestral home because our dad, Mark, is celebrating his 50th birthday with all of his children who all appear to be 30 going on 40.
Mm-hmm. And we have them. We have Julia is another daughter.
Jean?
God. I tried to map it all out and I got lost on it. Jenny is another sister. Jenny is the sister who is the air quotes slut of the group.
Yeah.
Then it seems like Brittany is another daughter.
I think she is.
Yeah, Brittany is a daughter
Although
who
it
is
was
pregnant.
very vague throughout the whole movie as to whether or not she was.
Yeah, but she's there at the house taking care of Dad and the grandmother who's living at the house. Mm-hmm. The grandfather passed away 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Their mother passed away.
Mark's wife.
Yeah.
Their mother.
Passed away also
my mother.
around 20
my
years
wife,
ago?
your mother. Jesus.
Because they were all kids. It seems like anyone who's already dead, it's about a 20-year mark.
Yeah, that's kind of
weird. It was a bad year for the family.
That was a bad year for the family. Although it could have been a good year considering how the grandpa was.
This is true. Grandpa, as we will tell you now.
It's not great.
Was an asshole.
Grandpa was an asshole.
And then we also have, rounding out the already cumbersome cast, Aunt Cheyenne, who was the sister of the deceased mom.
Carol.
And her daughter, who was...
Jean? Is that Jean?
I think that might have been Jeannie. Jenny. No, Jenny's the sister of the... Oh my God.
And then we have Byford, Beaufort, Skylar.
Skylar is the daughter of Aunt Cheyenne. Like, seriously, this is...
trying to keep track of the dwarves from The Hobbit is easier than all of these people.
Yeah.
Because it's all... None of them are distinctive. This is like full mumblecore.
Mm-hmm. And so take that and remember that first time you watched the first episode of, say, The Wire or Deadwood.
Yeah.
This is a lot of characters I'm never going to remember at all. No. Over the course of several seasons.
Sure.
Yeah. You can go back and you absolutely see where it's all laid out.
Everybody knows who Poot is.
Yeah.
Which is to say, Poot is the last man standing. God bless Poot. Anyway.
Yeah, and I don't know who Snot Boogie would be in this movie, but...
Snot Boogie is the deceased mother.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, because, not really relevant as much to the main. Okay. Anyway, we have all of this family. Oh my God, so much family.
All of them wearing plaid.
And the first 10, 15 minutes trying to sort out who was who, why are they all wearing similar plaid.
Because this is what they're doing. This is what they're talking about in the movie. They're not really establishing characters other than, hey, we're all related, and this is your name. And this is your name.
Should be careful about the baby. Cool, that's a pregnant one. Oh, you're the sister of this, that. It was like solving a logic puzzle where you have to just start connecting. Like, well, if Brianna is the sister of my mother's cousin, that would make...
Yeah. Generally, none of these people should be making out with each other. Even the unrelated ones.
Yeah, that's something you don't want to see. But being an Amityville movie...
It's iffy. It's a possibility. It is a concern.
So, we're just dealing with mainly this family bickering over this meal as the father is explaining, I'm glad you all came back for my 50th birthday. You're here for the weekends. We find out...
This is terrible.
Yeah. They're giving presents, and he gets a tie. He gets a bottle of liquor, which he hands off and says, I've been sober for 20 years.
Yeah.
That 20 years comes up again. Coincidence? No.
No, it is not.
And so we establish he is sober, and then he gets this toy monkey.
The Monkey Shines toy. The Monkey Shines monkey is the thing on the cover is in the movie.
Promise fulfilled.
Promise fulfilled. And man... Are there any non-horribly creepy versions of this thing?
Not that I've ever seen.
Even in Toy Story, that thing was just like, oh, I don't like you.
Yeah. It's terrible. It was creepier than anything Sid really constructed on his own.
No. Yeah. Jesus. But anyway, so he gets this monkey, and the minute he touches the monkey... all of everybody freezes and is in a different position in the living room.
He's kind of standing there at the end of Phantoms.
Yeah, and everything has gone green because, when it's done well more often than not in the movie. The madness is represented by extreme lighting changes. There's only one bit. There's one bit where it goes blue, and so we'll get to that later. Yeah. But at this point. He gets the monkey. He gets a vision of Ronnie DeFeo with the shotgun, and he doesn't know what's going on. And then it turns out he lost a little bit of time, and now has a headache. And now hears the sound of flies buzzing.
Dun, dun, dun.
The flies are back!
So he decides he's going to go to bed. He goes upstairs. They sit around the living room and hang out a little more.
Still talking about fucking nothing.
Yeah. But, it's...
But it's like really bad imitation Hollywood talking about nothing, where it's just like, oh, and I bet you want to fuck him, and oh, you're a slut, and oh my god, I can't believe you did that. And then I am not exaggerating.
This is our organizational banter.
Oh.
So one of them cuts downstairs because, the kids are up drinking.
Yeah.
And so somebody goes down to the basement to the
Jenny
wine cellar?
Yeah.
Where he has wine, which I guess is aging safely.
Because he's been sober for 20 years.
Right.
Lots of people that have drinking problems keep liquor in the house.
Yeah. Now, it's not a huge wine cellar. It's kind of a wine rack.
Yes.
But
in the basement.
Yeah. But just, it's a weird thing to have, pointing that out. Mm-hmm. While they're still drinking, Dad gets up in the middle of the night, a bit of a headache. He goes out into the hallway and he steps on the monkey and he cuts his foot wide open.
Because they're notoriously sharp, those monkey shine symbols.
Yeah, those jagged children's toys. Yells at the family, then later is discovered checking on his foot and it's just bloody as hell.
Yeah.
So I guess touching the monkey was the inciting thing, or cut like the blood sacrifice to it, or somehow or another, he has now been activated.
In a very unsprockets-like way, touching the monkey was not a good thing.
Right.
Touch my monkey.
Yeah, it's kind of a Manchurian possession.
Manchurian possession. That's pretty good. But, so in the next morning, Dad is chopping wood in the backyard like a crazy person because... And this, rubs, is both pro and con about this movie. They've seen an Amityville movie before.
Chopping wood.
This is what we do.
Yeah.
They go crazy and he chops wood. And Dad is fairly jacked and has tattoos all over his body.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely is toured.
Yeah, it's kind of, that would be the best. That would explain everything. Is that he's an old rocker or a roadie
all of
or
his
something.
drinking. Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Settled in Nebraska to get away from the scene.
Sure.
But yeah, he's cutting lumber and he's already starting to get a little bit
wiggy. A little freaky.
And Aunt Cheyenne comes out and offers him some orange juice. Now, you at home might be predicting that it's not just orange juice. We predicted it wasn't orange juice.
The only person that didn't figure it out
was Mark. He spits it out. Oh, it's just a little vodka.
What are you trying to do, Cheyenne? I told you I'm sober.
I've been sober for
20
20 years. At which point she calls it an honest mistake.
Yeah.
Which is the double lie.
Yeah. It was
dishonest about it. Not a mistake. So she's not endearing she's not.
And she's in a full-on floozy outfit, which was nice. She's definitely, she wants to hook up with her sister's widower. I don't understand why people are getting so freaked out about this.
Yeah. And implication was that they had hooked up back in the day at some point as well.
Yes, definitely. So she goes back inside. Mark continues to chop wood. The 12 different children all gossip about it. And then they decide to go to the zoo.
Yeah. So they go up to check on Dad to see if he wants to go to the zoo, and his room is in the middle of the night.
Actually, hold on. We did miss the first appearance of Dad Ghost.
Oh, right.
While he's chopping wood.
Oh, it is a ghost of the grandfather.
Yeah,
and we can call him Gramps, but we will not call him Ghost Dad because
that's not the correct term. No, that's not the correct person. It's Dad Ghost. Mm-hmm. Dad Ghost is kind of my favorite character in this movie, despite being a racist, homophobic piece of shit.
Yeah, he's a garbage person, but
he's hilarious.
Shows up and basically starts saying, "Well, you know what you got to do," after the aunt, wanders off in a huff.
Yeah.
Having been clearly wrong about everything she did. Mm-hmm. So they go up to check on Dad to see if he wants to go to the zoo, but
and now it's night.
Yeah,
because this is the one time
pitch black outside. like the glowing blue lighting night.
It's day for night blue lighting, which, don't get me wrong, I appreciate they didn't want to go too much with red, just green, just orange or yellow for the madness stuff. We want to at least do one blue, but it's that means something specific when you use that blue.
Yeah.
And it was very jarring and confusing.
Yeah.
And it made me hate the movie for a minute.
No light coming in from any windows, just a dark.
Yeah.
Why is this night? We thought we had skipped ahead a day.
Yeah.
And there's Dad standing bare ass naked, just
this is our first butt.
There.
This is our first butt of the movie.
Yeah. He declines going to the zoo because he apparently has already gone to the zoo in a very Cameron Fry way.
Yeah. It's not great. Mark is going nuts. Or is he just being possessed? It is a question because, as it turns out, the grandma can see Dad ghost. Mm-hmm. Which, that was delightful. It's one of those things where, in the movies when the person is being driven insane and haunted by an apparition of a deceased loved one, you usually don't expect other people to see them too. Mm-hmm. Let alone, Grandma not only sees the ghost of her dead husband, but is just delighted and happy. And
he's around again, and she's apparently dabbling in senility. She has her good days and bad days. Yeah. But she sees him just like everybody else, and even slaps him when he says something profane.
Yeah, they start having breakfast together, and he starts mouthing off, and she smacks him as if this is an old 50s sitcom. Yeah, it's hilarious and amazing.
So
they go off. Some of the kids go off to the zoo, and Dad is having his solution. Oh, Dad kills Cheyenne at this point.
Right, yeah. Cheyenne is staring in the mirror, having just moment of reflection. Oh, I see what they did there. Okay, got it. All right. Yep. And so, then Dad disappears her.
Yeah, disappears her.
Then Dan and Bree come back to the house to hook up. They skip out on the family going to the zoo.
I've never seen professions of unbridled desire be muttered so apathetically and unemotionally before.
Yeah,
and then they go and actually have a clothes-on sex scene, which I don't know for whose benefit that was, because definitely wasn't the audience's.
Yeah, but they're hooking up, and while they're hooking up, the dad realizes he's got to do something. Well, because Grandma and Grandpa are basically saying you need to take care of this sinning family.
Yeah. It's great because it's the ghost is saying it, sure, but the living grandma is also saying I can't believe you're letting this happen.
I agree with the evil, racist, homophobic apparition of my dead husband. Yeah. She's into it.
She's into it.
So, so Dad goes up and walks into the room, and now they're having sex washed in green light, and Brianna on top turns around and says, "Stop me, Daddy." Yeah.
He doesn't.
He doesn't there.
No.
We cut to everybody having dinner, and they try and do a lunch. Okay. But they're having lunch, and everyone's back from the zoo. Camera is spinning around. Which was apparently
not fun.
Yeah, it smelled of poop and had a lot of kids.
I was shocked to see that this group of people did not have fun together somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
But, yeah, we just get literally a round table discussion. The camera is spinning around like the old opening credits of Roseanne.
Yeah, it's like a Lazy Susan.
Yeah, except that when a line goes to somebody, sometimes it just yanks you back to the other direction. God. Yeah, it's kind of Lazy Susan, like the Tilt-A-Whirl at the State Fair. Mm-hmm. Nothing to really note from the dialogue there.
No, but then all of a sudden, Grandma is choking the life out of pregnant Brittany.
Uh-huh.
And Brittany, after Jenny... I think it's Jenny. Yeah, after Jenny pulls her off, just said, "This is just one of Grandma's bad days." Mm-hmm. It's like she's choking the life out of you.
And you are pregnant. She's choking 2 lives out.
Yeah, this is not good. And it's at this point, who
Yeah,
gets
well, they're arguing as to whether they should get Brittany out of the house and have her stay at a hotel, and a lot of the companions are saying, yeah, maybe we don't stay here this weekend, and the family is saying, well, we got to stay together.
And then Mark asks Dan to help him out in the backyard, and then this happens. Then the funniest thing happens. Like, it's hard to describe it. You really will just have to watch it, because just the way it moves, it's just Mark brings Dan into the shed, and as like the camera angle is from outside of the shed, you see like the doorway to the shed, or actually it's a greenhouse for some reason. And once they go in, you just see the ghost of the grandpa just walk very determinedly in there with like the shotgun. It's like, or the axe.
The axe. There's an axe
like,
on that
and now we're doing this.
Yeah, it's like you see that. Yeah,
Dad ghost.
Yeah. Well, like Mark and Daniel go in there, and it's like you think the shot is over, and instead of cutting, it's like he almost missed his cue, like that kind of hustle.
It's like,
hold on.
I want to see.
You can count on me, X. So we're assuming, rightly so, at this point, Daniel's dead.
Oh yeah.
Then there is the vision of Anthony. In an S&M situation with Jade.
Yeah.
Anthony is basically whipping Jade, who's another butt shot.
Another butt?
Bent over the bed.
Butts.
And just, whipping with a cat o' nine tails. Maybe like 20 tails. It was,
Who's counting?
And Anthony turns to the father and says,
"Stop me, Daddy."
So Jade's not long for this world.
No.
Basically, like almost immediately, Jade is basically just choked out in the hallway with some really.
No, he gets thrown down the stairs.
Okay, that's what was happening. Basically, the camera just starts kind of going everywhere.
Yeah.
But,
I forgot to mention the bit where like, while Mark was still chopping the wood, there's like this weird cutaway where we hear nothing but Mark grunting, but no, we don't see what he's doing. And then it cuts back to him grunting.
Right, yep.
There's a lot of weird cuts, but then the sound keeps going in the park.
Speaking of the sound going, anytime they're outside at all, birds.
Oh, these fucking birds.
Like, I don't think it was in-camera sound for the movie overall for the dialogue, but there were definitely sound concerns. And like a little bit of echo and all that. Whatever.
These birds are ridiculous.
But, they layer on birds anytime you're outside of the house. Just constant chirp, 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 to quote Tommy Wiseau.
Oh my God.
Or cheep, 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 cheep. Sorry.
Cheep, cheep, cheep. But yeah, at this point, what little passed for like a plot or a progression of things goes out the window, and now it's just like, hey, guess what? Dad's killing everybody.
Mm-hmm. Just one at a time, just picking folks off.
Yeah, and like it's they don't have any money for blood effects or squibs or anything, so it's like nothing but shots of Mark taking aim and then cutting to something else and hearing a gunshot off screen.
Oh, well, before we get to the wholesale of it, we have to mention that Brittany, while wanting to stay in the house, goes into labor.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah, now she's in the kitchen.
Yes.
She goes into labor. She's down on the ground, and then birthed from her is a giant snake demon that shoots right at the camera.
This is a hallucination.
It is a hallucination, but it is an
really
important.
Good. Yeah, it was amazing. Where it's just like all of a sudden, demon baby.
Yeah. So not sure what that was supposed to add up to, and that wasn't even a hallucination of the dad. I don't think.
No, like he's not in the room, but yeah, like I don't know who is hallucinating it.
Maybe the grandmother?
Maybe, because Dad is in the living room hallucinating his daughter making out with him.
Yeah, Jenny is the daughter that always reminded him of his ex-wife, or his dead wife. And he misses her.
Yeah.
And so we get some of that Amityville incest.
Yeah, we do. The Amityville incest that, even though it is not a constant staple, it is enough of a staple.
It is.
It being a staple ever makes it a staple.
Yeah.
But at this, also intercut with all this stuff is we have two of the daughters and then the cousin all giving us the backstory about how Mark
Jenny,
and
Julia, and
Skylar
in the car.
They're explaining that Mark gave up drinking after him and Carol, the dead mother, had terrible drinking problems. Both of them did. They had terrible fights, and they ended up in a car accident together. But Carol died not directly because of the car accident, but because Mark tried to perform CPR on her so hard he crushed her ribs.
Yeah, drunken CPR, and they literally say crushed her ribs.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong, Mark is pretty jacked.
Oh yeah,
like it's one of those. I could see a drunk guy doing that. By mistake,
absolutely.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's a brutal image to get in your head.
It also makes Cheyenne that much more fucked up that she would play around with a guy's sobriety who accidentally killed her sister.
She was a garbage person.
She was a garbage person.
Yeah. So now that we know the backstory of that, basically, Mark had already killed his wife, though potentially accidentally.
I would go with it more accidentally than not.
But it seems like
manslaughter, But,
But it seems like a lot of the characters, including Mark himself, may have doubt about how it went down.
Oh, they blame him for it, definitely. As does he. But, Yeah. So now that we have backstory, it's time for every single person to die.
Yep. Bree finds the bodies in the shed, and Dad shoots her.
Yep.
Then Anthony's on the lawn.
Anthony's with Bree, and then and then and now that's your turn.
And it's some good angles on it.
Actually, it was fun.
Yeah, I would like to pause and say there are two different camera styles in this movie: indoors and outdoors.
Yeah.
Outdoors is very cinematic. There's throne shots, there's aerial shots in general, but there's some really good framing. There's there's not much
good.
lighting or any of that because it's daytime, but no, it's very well composed shots. Yeah. It's
indoors very functional and not great.
Indoors is basically trying to fill the four corners of the frame instead of like a fully just composed frame. And the lighting is very stage theatrical.
And hit or miss.
Right. It's like sometimes you're in a room and it looks like a room. And sometimes you've just, even in not a surreal scene, you'll have like harsh red shadows on one side, harsh green shadows on the other as they're trying to cross light the actors to be balanced, but the shadows just kind of have this weird Batman 66 vibe going on.
But not in a good way.
Right. They could use work. But I will say even inside, there were a lot of creative camera angle choices.
Yes.
They didn't cut well together all the time, but they were always thinking, what can we do with the camera? And I appreciate that. Even when it misses, that they went for it.
Yes. Although it was just kind of brutal when there's just an extreme close-up on Anthony's bald head.
That was a rough one. Yeah, there's an overhead, there's a bird's eye shot going down the steps, and it's
just Anthony's bald head.
Yeah.
It's just like, I mean, just don't. Don't.
It was not flattering.
No, it was not. But anyway, he's dead. So he's dead at this point. So
so he's probably fine with it by now.
And then we got like the three girls that were in the car. Rather than drive the car away, get out of the car and get shot. Although the Jeannie or Jenny, I forget, or Julia, Jesus Christ, throws a wrench at Mark.
Yeah, now Mark has already killed the other two in the car. Shot Skylar in the back seat through the head, gets closer, shoots
Jeannie or Jenny or Julie.
Julia made it out, so Jenny.
Yeah.
She's splattered against the inside front window. Julia gets out and picks up a giant plumber's wrench, like
which was
cartoonish.
This was in the car.
Now, not in a giant pile of crap in the back seat mixed with like McDonald's bags and loose cables and comic books like my car is.
It was just in the car.
There was just a lone wrench.
I'm not sure whose car it was either. It didn't matter.
Yeah, because it at least had that distracting wrench. So she throws it, clocks Dad in the head.
And now it starts snowing.
Yeah. And matching tradition again, there is some digital snow.
Where was Was it number 2? Did they have the fake snow? Which one had the fake snow?
There have been a couple that have had fake snow, but 2 would have been pre-digital. There was the oh god, it was the one at the lake.
Oh, the one with the Spider Woman has fake snow.
Right, that one had a lot of fake snow. So I think this might have even been a nod to that.
Maybe.
Because it seems like there's lots of nods to existing ones, including some of the later ones. But yeah, there's fake digital snow, but then they cut to snowflake, like soap snowflake.
Yeah, physical, actual practical snowflakes.
And then even have scenes with real snow, like a shot or 2 with real snow.
Which may have caused all of this to begin with.
This is true. Well, it's snowing this day. Okay, we got to add it somehow.
Yeah.
You know what? That makes sense why they added that extra scene.
Yeah.
So Jenny is on the run.
The
Julia.
transition scene with our 2 hitchhikers.
Yeah, there's just 2 guys.
2 guys driving.
And they stop because they see Mark with the rifle, and he just goes in and kills them in the middle of it. That's where we get. They do try
to fight him, which
they do.
I appreciated, but all for nothing because they just get shot.
Yeah, when you're spending the 10 minutes trying to kill all of your characters off in a fell swoop, adding 2 more characters to kill is it's the literal definition of overkill.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
this is terrible.
But we still get we get some more murders. We get the transition from digital snow to finally Julia is hoofing it in a shot that honestly kind of reminded me a little of tail end of Texas Chainsaw.
A little bit.
When she's running on the highway. Great looking shot. And she's running. And Gramps, I think, calls out once again. Gramps has been calling out, do it.
Yeah, it's been so good.
And we hear a gunshot. And the screen goes black. And so you think that's the end of the movie.
And then it says
1 week later. And I'm going to say right now, while we're going to go into 1 week later, I do believe it was the end of the movie.
It was the end of the movie.
Like all functional yeah.
Well, we never... Spoiler alert for this 1 week later sequence we're about to talk about. It relates in no way to the rest of the movie.
It's back in Amityville.
We assume.
We assume because they show us, when they say 1 week later, they show us the Amityville house, and then a guy and a girl go into the house as paranormal investigators who have been hired to make sure the house is clean. Mm-hmm. It's really vague. They talk about how 4 people were killed, and then he turned the gun on his family and then himself.
Now, these numbers are too low for the Mark and, the 12 children's story arc. But it could be the DeFeos. I mean, it's got to be the DeFeos.
That number is too high for the DeFeos.
No.
Because 4 dead, and then he turned the guns on his family.
I mean, it's always been kind of vague, but around 6 or 7.
What we're saying is we have no idea. They might be talking about a completely unrelated murder.
They could be talking about a completely unrelated
As a matter of fact, it possibly could be because they're at the Amityville house, in theory. Except, okay, so they're sensing evil. They're basically there to make sure the house is clean before it's sold.
They name themselves the Raglins, the only family of paranormal investigators that we are legally allowed to talk about in the film because the Warrens get uppity.
Yep.
Unless they get their piece.
Exactly. So, yeah, the Raglins are checking out the house, and the sister senses something for sure.
Yeah.
But as she goes upstairs, she senses it less and less. And she says, this is something new. It's an object radiating evil, which leads us back to Nebraska in theory.
You would think, and they could just easily tie it together.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't.
Instead, the brother is, while he's trying to sneak liquor out of...
Well, so they go upstairs. Because that's where they hear a noise and they go upstairs to check it.
It might be the house settling. It might be stealing copper.
Yeah. Sister feels like there's something else going downstairs, so she sends brother downstairs, presumably to hook up with the dad, who is in the basement. We have seen the dad a couple of times walking around what is presented as the basement of the Amityville house, which has not one, not two, but three industrial-sized furnaces.
Yeah. Like giant Budweiser beer brewing vat.
It looks like the engineering level of Star Trek.
Mm-hmm. Like the door to the furnace is taller than a person.
Yes. So the brother goes down and starts sneaking liquor. The dad in the basement opens up one of the furnaces and finds a painting of a clown in the style of a Velvet Elvis picture.
Yeah, but the clown's face, and it's clown hair, but the clown's face looks like a Court of Owls mask.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Sister, back upstairs, is confronted by a long-haired dude who starts talking as if he is the manifestation of the evil inside the house, which may or may not be the Amityville house, because, again, they've established nothing.
They've said the evil in this house is something new, and they showed us the Amityville house, which is an old evil. The sister says some houses, the evil is deep in the ground. Sometimes it's in the foundation of the house. Sometimes a house is built on a site of, a Native American burial ground, or she names multiple origin stories that have been presented in previous Amityville films.
That is true.
And then when she meets this guy who possessed the nearby paperboy,
which presumably this dude is the body of the paperboy who appears to be, 35 years old.
Yeah, very scruffy beard, long hair. If he is the paperboy, I think he is a rolling paperboy.
Or maybe he's been there for a while.
This is true. But he's talking he's talking in weird beat poetry around that he is the evil.
This could have been the cooler version of the movie. I was like, man, if only this had been the movie, and
for all we know, they might spin that out into something we've got coming.
Maybe. But he ends up turning her inside out. He says, first, I'm going to turn her inside out. She starts spitting up blood and then goo,
chunks are coming out, like Kids in the Hall when Kevin McDonald puked his liver out.
Yeah. Then it cuts back down to Dad in the furnace room, and while he's intently staring at the clown Velvet Elvis, one of the other gigantic furnaces opens up and a hand starts poking its way out, and then the credits.
Yeah, we hear a gunshot. As the credit, there was a gunshot as the credits come up, and this leaves the kids upstairs. But
the children,
they're adults.
Yeah,
but that's left them up there with the evil in the house or the paperboy, who described himself trying to tie the continuity together again as an evil that has always existed, but it has permeated every particle of the house, every object of the house with this evil, and it goes with that evil while it stays.
Which would be fine if they ever stated that the Monkey Shines toy came from Amityville.
Right. It was just, we picked it back. We remember you had liked one of these when you were a kid, so we picked one up.
At an antique store back home.
Yeah.
They never name home, which...
They could have just done
They could have just said Amityville right there, and it's one of the few real, you screwed it up. Because overall, I think the movie's okay.
I honestly had a lot of fun watching it.
As did I, but, it was just kind of they're, crucial missing connective tissues in a couple of spots that were really bad.
Yeah, they were right up on the side of it.
Yeah.
And that's what I honestly do hope that they have another one in the future, at least for us, if they've already made it or are working on one. Because I feel like they got a sense of the series.
Yes. They definitely got what makes a good Amityville movie, which... was a pleasant surprise after the last 3 or 4 where it's it's an Amityville, it's on and out, so who gives a shit? It's no, there are certain recurring aspects and tropes that will make it work.
Yeah, and incorporating some of the ones even from some of the ones that we didn't enjoy as much, it happened, it counted, if we can fit it in. makes it that much more frustrating that they didn't just name it with the toy.
Yeah.
But
overall, kind of good.
Yeah.
Definitely
I had fun
better
watching
than the last bunch. Yeah, no, this was, resale value for this one was pretty high for me.
Yeah.
All things
I would watch this one again.
Yeah.
So last thing about that giant closing sequence, we don't know who any of those people are.
No, they're not. Okay, so in the end credits, not only do you see that everybody was just playing their character names were their actual first names, but the Raglins are not referenced at all in the end credits.
Nor the Paperboy. There's not a listing for them. There's not a mysterious name or an alias. It is literally just missing from the ending credits. Almost like they shot that sequence as an afterthought.
What? No.
Or they
what with the way that none of the house looks anything like anything, and it doesn't connect up with anything.
It's a theory.
You son of a bitch. It's a theory.
Yeah, and there is that acts as the post-credit sequence. It's just before the credits, so you don't have to sit through the credits unless you're a fan of My Life with the Thrill Kill Couple.
Which they had a song from My Life with the Thrill Kill Couple.
Yeah, they wound up actually licensing one of their songs, and it plays as the closing credits. They play the whole song.
Yeah.
The entire song all the way through.
We had to get up to 76 minutes somehow.
Yep, and there's not a lot of credits compared to your major blockbusters that sometimes need 2 or 3 songs to get through everyone in digital and compositing.
Not a lot of post-production people on this movie.
Yeah. When they say a screen crawl, this is a screen crawl.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
But the Raglins are not mentioned in it at all. And, like, even on the IMDb, they're not even like, these people were in it uncredited. It's like, this is just a thing... We may have hallucinated it.
It's entirely possible. I'm not counting anything out at this point.
Of these.
Yeah. I think we're at about the halfway mark.
Oh my god.
I say that knowing that there's probably 3 more coming out by the next episode.
Holy hell.
Yeah.
Oh man.
About once a month I'm just doing Google searches to see if any more have been announced. We're keeping a spreadsheet. I'm tracking them as I find out about them, and...
This is a race against sanity.
Yeah. So if anyone out there listening to this podcast, knowing what we do with all of these...
If you find out about a new one that we haven't mentioned yet, keep it to your fucking self.
I was going to say, if you're making one, just send it to us. Honestly, we'll get to it. Save us the research work. Like, yeah, I mean, we'll watch it. And you know what we do.
Yeah, and we will give you, I mean, clearly we'll give you a glowing review.
Well, we will be honest, we'll be honest, but we do try to find what we can like about it every time.
Of course.
We want to enjoy all these. And
why
just
do you make it so hard for us to enjoy these?
I'm looking at you, Playhouse.
Ugh. Anyway. So, yeah, I would recommend this one. And, yeah. We'll see you guys next week with the next installment of the Amityville Horror Podcast.
Yep.
I'm afraid to even look at which one's next.
I don't even remember. I feel like I looked it up and they're starting to run together.
I'm pretty sure the word Amityville's in the title, so it's fine.
Yeah.
That's all that, like, as some of them have shown, that's all that matters.
Apparently so.
To you. The Sickle movie had nothing to do with anything. I'm still not forgiving you about it.
I'm not forgiving myself if it's any consolation.
It kind of is, yeah.
Oh, all right, fair.
All right. See you guys later.
If you want to interact with us online, you can check us out on Instagram or Twitter at Amityville Show, or you can send us an email at podcastamityville@gmail.com.